there's some really good. I was thinking the other day how cool it was, and I didn't see this at any other fucking college party, so I'm taking total credit for this.
Okay.
We used to have these really shitty movie posters, like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen.
And then like we had like a few other just like dumb posters, and we had no use for them, obviously. So we had like a bunch of parties at our apartment, and I think for like 2 or 3 of them, we would just flip the poster over and have a bunch of like markers on the table, and everyone at the party would just draw. Like there was like a big blank.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It was actually really
You know
fun.
what's crazy is I have completely forgotten about that until you just said that. I remember most of our parties somehow.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
But-
maybe there's a good reason you don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
They got rowdy, man, but those posters were really cool. Those posters were like time capsules. And like, you know, I randomly started thinking about it the other day for like no, and it was just such a cool, like years later, like pulling out that poster and being like, holy shit, you know, why did we invite that person?
Well, there was a lot of that.
There was a lot.
And a lot of people we definitely did not invite.
Yeah, for sure. Like the guy who stole our frozen shrimp right out of our freezer.
Who is this criminal? Can we dox him right now?
I wish, dude. I still want that
He
shrimp
stole, I think, several people's cell phones.
Yeah.
And
What?
stole our frozen shrimp out of the freezer.
back. Yeah, there was like 2 phones that broke that night. So, you know, we would like put them on like a cabinet or a bookshelf or whatever in the living room.
Yeah.
Our parties were usually so fucking chill. Like nothing ever happened. And then there was one party that people almost got in a fight. So some people were like on Molly or something. So they started like, they randomly were throwing gang signs up while they were playing beer pong and fucking, those were the dudes who
I
stole
didn't know
our
that
goddamn.
was a side effect of Molly.
Yeah, you just start throwing up gang signs.
Yeah, wow.
It's dangerous.
I'm pretty sure it was Matt's buddy who they were on lean. Sipping lean.
That's what they
Ooh.
were on.
Um,
I mean, if you sip lean and you don't throw up gang signs, like I don't think it works until you throw.
Your
up
body
a gang
rejects
sign.
it.
Yeah,
yeah, I think you actually have to.
I think you have to
for it to kick in.
It's not bioavailable until you
Yeah.
do that. Like,
Yeah.
It sits dormant until you throw up a gang sign.
right until
Yeah.
you crack your knuckle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the guy who stole our frozen shrimp. I think he stole a bag of rice and something else. Oh, and my weed.
Yeah.
And a bunch of broken cell phones that happened at the party.
How many pockets does this dude have?
They probably just grabbed a fucking bag and just put it all in the bag, and we were all just hammered.
Yeah, they
Didn't
just like
realize what
grabbed a
was happening.
shopping cart when he went into your house. It was like, all right, don't mind me. I'll just be taking what I want here.
You know what?
And I get stealing weed, cell phones
Yes.
at a college party back in the day.
Leaving the cell
I
phones
do
out,
not
leaving
understand
weed out
frozen
like that.
shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah, going into someone's freezer and stealing a bag of fucking Gulf shrimp, that's not...
So fucking.
Or going into the freezer and stealing someone's Snickers ice cream box.
Okay, here again with this. Still hasn't... He's convinced I ate his Snickers bars.
Oh, habits die hard, don't they?
He's convinced I ate his Snickers bars. And you are not going to get me on tape admitting
What?
to eating your fucking Snickers ice cream bars.
I always believe accusations against you, Lucas, so I'm on Aaron's side with this one.
It's all projection. He ate my fucking Snickers bars probably, and he feels all bad about it, so he's trying to flip it on me. Fucking classic.
I don't remember the time well enough to debate that, but
See?
I'm pretty sure it was you who stole my Snickers ice cream.
It's
And I've held on to it for several years.
It's been at least 12 years. Over a decade of accusing me of this.
12 years of not being able to eat those
Yeah.
sweet, juicy Snickers.
I feel like I've been a slave under Aaron's accusations for 12 years. I know exactly what that feels like.
Well,
And
Is that what 12 Years a Slave is about?
yeah, it's my life goddamn story.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, of just accusing me of stealing
Of
your goddamn
Snickers.
Snickers. I wouldn't do that to you, Aaron.
Well, maybe by the end of the podcast, we'll be able to like figure out who it was, kind of like a whodunit mystery type of thing.
Yeah, we'll
you
see.
know?
No, I mean, it was him.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, open and shut.
No, we've solved it.
It's been solved from the beginning.
Yeah, this is like making a murderer now. Like he's already got the story he wants to know, or he wants to
for
believe.
sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what I say. Fucking gaslighting me. stressing me out. I need to eat a fucking Snickers bar now. All right. Well, on that note.
What's up, buds? Welcome to another Awkward Silence episode of the Earbuds Podcast. This is a podcast where a couple very good friends talk about very good albums for a very good amount of time. We brought one.
We brought one.
We brought one for y'all.
Yep.
We have a new person on display here. And we're going to talk about, I assume, your life story, your career path that you've gone down, the trials and tribulations, and also maybe this album you brought in. Does that sound good?
That sounds outstanding.
All right.
And if y'all don't like the album, I'm going to be devastated.
Ooh.
I might hang up early.
Ooh. Promise?
Okay.
And, well... but I'm excited.
Can I challenge that right now? Well, we are your hosts for the day. Me, Lucas, Hot Indrakovs, Brett, Water, Hanrahan, and our special guest, one of my best friends for as long as I can remember. I can't remember anything before. Aaron Music Pennington the third.
Aw. Yeah. Music.
Yeah.
Middle name.
Yeah, Music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
How
Hot.
are you liking that?
Brett was Water.
I like that. That's my third middle name now.
Aaron Marie Music
Calendars.
Aaron Marie Calendars Music Penny.
Yes.
The third.
Please. And
Is it
Aaron,
Sir? Is it Sir Aaron? I don't want to.
Sir. Yeah. When I'm in the UK, here it reverts back to just Aaron.
Just
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you fucking brought this record for some goddamn reason. And that record is Caution by Hot Water Music, which I haven't listened to high school, dude.
Well, you are missing out, my friend.
Yeah, what made you fucking pick this album? Because I know you had a bunch in mind.
Yeah, I kind of around this time frame, 2001, 2002, is really when I got into like punk rock music. Kind of started just riding to school in my brother's car, listening to emo, pop punk, and whatever else, and then just kind of veered on my own path of finding Bad Religion, Hot Water Music,
Yep.
and really fell in love with this album. And it's, just one of my favorites of all time.
Man, I remember your van, like covered in band.
Oh yeah.
It was like, what? So wait, how did you first get into punk music? Like, what was it? Like, what did you hear? What was it that got you into punk?
I remember listening to Newfound Glory and Saves the Day were like the first bands that I remember hearing with my brother.
Oh, your older brother?
And then, my older brother, he
okay.
did at the time, had listened to Newfound Glory and Saves the Day and all the kind of that emo scene that was becoming pretty big, Get Up Kids.
Yep.
And then I remember I was in like 9th grade math class and listening to either a mixtape, like a mix CD on my literal CD player in my backpack, and Alkaline Trio came on, and I was like,
And that
sold.
about did it.
And then, and AFI, as you know.
Yeah, dude, those are your big two right there.
Yeah. AFI and Alkaline Trio in high school were the cat's pajamas.
Y'all should have got this full on the Andreas episode where you talked about black sunsets over Monroeville or whatever.
Yeah, no, I know Aaron would have loved to talk about that one. Me and Andres have been talking about starting an AFI podcast where we listen.
Oh my god!
Every episode is just the next album because there's so much of their shit I haven't listened to, and I used to love AFI.
They have, although I don't particularly like their new music just because it's not my style.
Yeah,
they are like from start till now. they've just been professionals. I mean,
yeah,
same band, same group of 4 dudes.
Really like smart. They know what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I feel like the stuff that I've seen them do and the people that they've like kind of, you know, Davey kind of will show up on different people. They still have ties to like the hardcore scene. And
for sure. I mean, they grew up in that.
Yeah, they never seem to have forgotten that. And I love that early AFI shit too, man. Everything before Black Sails, I like more than Black.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
I like their like raw, literal
minute and a half
West Coast hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just minute 15, fucking perfect, annoying as hell. Like Davey Havoc sounds banshee, and I love it. But yeah, man. So,
I would have.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'd love to be a fly in the wall of that, like that scene back in San Francisco, where like Green Day came up, AFI, all of them
Rancid,
came up.
right?
Yeah, Transplants.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. I was the same way with punk though. My intro to punk was, I mean, for real, was playing Crazy Taxi.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's a killer soundtrack.
Fucking, it had like almost the whole Grey Race album by Bad Religion. And one Offspring record too that was on there. And it was basically just those 2 bands on the whole soundtrack. And I didn't know what I was listening to, but I was like, God damn, I love all this music.
I love how fast it is.
Yeah, and it was perfect for the game. And then Davey, one of our friends in high school in 9th grade for my birthday, bought me the New Found Glory self-titled record. And I feel like that was a lot of people like me and Aaron's age, like in our group, that album was huge for us. What
about you, Brett? You're younger, right? But
yeah,
Lucas said you're a punk fan.
He is.
I'm a punk fan of a completely different era. I'd never really listened to New Found Glory. When this album that we're talking about came out, I was 7 years old. And I didn't even know about music until like middle school, and I was like 12 or something. I don't remember how old, but I got into my first bands were like Minor Threat and Misfits.
Jesus, you got into the real shit right away, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you started from really when people got into punk in the first place, besides the shitty Ramones and.
Oh, dude, fuck the Ramones.
Yeah,
they're the worst.
With all due respect to them, they're
time.
fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was brought up in a very classic music environment in the School of Rock, where they were like, yeah, the music from the 60s and 70s were the best, and so okay, I guess I'll listen to 80s punk and stuff, and like I still like it, but I think it's very cool what's happening with punk these days, and I was very much enjoying this album, and I was thinking like this probably would have been a very important album to me if I heard this in like middle or high school.
Really? It hit you that hard?
It just sounds like exactly what I would have wanted to hear in that era. It sounds like I had the thought that if I'd listened to this earlier on, I think I would have liked the Bronx a lot more. Because I got a lot of kind of Bronxy vibes from it.
For sure. What was it about this record that you wanted to bring on?
I kind of went between a couple albums. Obviously, Alkaline Trio. Thought about AFI, but I knew y'all had already had AFI. You've done Thrice like 7 times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
I don't know who to blame for that one. I'm going to blame Lucas.
I think you're
definitely
right.
Lucas for that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. They're all great albums. But yeah, I kind of waffled between a bunch. But this one is just... I started to try to pick the albums. I was going back and trying to listen to each one again and see which one still kind of hit me the same way. And the way this album kicks off just, I feel like, catches you immediately and holds on the whole time. So
it starts at 100 miles an hour for sure.
That opener, like, that's such a great way to open a track, but an even better way to open it.
Right.
God damn, that intro is so fucking, like, you immediately get hyped.
The little vocal that comes in, and then
I need a remedy. And Chuck Reagan's voice is so fucking great, dude. It's so great.
Yeah.
For this music.
It is powerful, man. I don't know if y'all had heard his any of his solo stuff.
I haven't. I was going to ask you if you had. I know that some of us got into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more tame, but it's still his voice kind of really shining through. And yeah, I mean, if you like his voice in this stuff, you'll like his solo stuff.
But this is more like I've seen a lot of people call them melodic hardcore online, like when this, and I haven't heard anything that came out before this, so it might have been a little more hardcore. Like, I'm not sure, but I don't even know if I would consider this.
Yeah, they have. I think this was their sixth.
It's their fifth album in 5 years.
Yeah,
they came out the record every year.
Jesus.
Yeah, I read some of the reviews actually of this one, and like back then it wasn't well received because they were much more raw, kind of hard. It wasn't the normal hardcore, but I would call it post-hardcore. A little bit. It was unique, definitely. It had more kind of rock vibes than it did punk hardcore.
Yeah, I would say especially on stuff like Trusty Chords and Wayfarer, it's like more alternative rock than anything.
I would pretty quickly call it like pop punk. Really.
Yeah, I would say some of my favorite songs on this record were more pop punk than anything, for sure.
It's just the combination of Chuck and Chris's voice is much more kind of raw than any other pop punk band.
For sure.
But they're like the instrumentals and everything definitely, and I think that's why people like they are a hard band to throw into a genre. I like the melodic hardcore because I get some. If you listen to Strike Anywhere, they have that same very kind of gruff sound, but it's more rock and roll than it is like hardcore punk. So it's tough to play some.
I would almost compare them more to Gaslight Anthem than a punk
for
band,
sure.
Right?
They're good friends with Gaslight Anthem.
There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong about this. This might be out of nowhere, but it kind of reminded me a lot of 4 Year Strong at moments of this album. Yeah.
What's funny is they both, like, one random genre that I hear pop up is, like, beardcore or gruff punk. And if you've seen the 4 Year Strong guys, they're all fucking bearded.
They all wear flannel,
They're much poppier than Hot Water Music, I think.
For sure.
Their genre is, like, called easycore.
I love easy.
Yeah.
Pop punk mixed with, like, melodic metalcore breakdowns and shit. Yeah. So much fun.
They are really good live, by the way, 4 Year Strong.
If they're as tight live as they are on the record, that'd be so impressive, dude.
They sound great. They're a fun band, and they're not. I feel like they're fun, but not in a like Blink-182 immature fun way.
Right.
They're just you enjoy watching them.
They just don't take themselves seriously.
It's a performance.
Yeah, for sure. And like going back to this record though, we were saying Chuck Reagan's voice, man. Like as fucking great as his voice is, I guess I can't tell when there's someone else singing because I would assume Chuck was singing them. But I would say the lyrics are almost better than the vocals.
Yeah, that's I think what Brett was talking about probably was he probably would have related to this quite a bit, and I think that's what got me into it. Is like the lyrics are fucking dark, powerful.
Yeah,
they have like glimmer of hope in them, but it's still pretty kind of negative lyrics. And as an angsty teen,
it's the exact stuff you need.
That was it.
Yeah, it seems like you said in I Was on a Mountain, he's kind of hanging by a thread the whole time. And it's, a lot of stuff that's about maybe, addiction or just some kind of depression or something. But I feel they always try to give that glimmer of hope, that, kind of optimism that things could get better and that, maybe let's not try to completely focus everything on how...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think like one of the things I like about the lyrics a lot, and that's why it kind of reminded me of Gaslight Anthem or even kind of a little bit of Alkaline Trio, is the songwriting is really good storytelling too. And that's why I thought these guys were from either Chicago or fucking Jersey or something, because I feel like that's where a lot of those like kind of storytelling punk bands come from, like working class punk bands kind of. But yeah, that's what I like a lot about their lyrics, is that it's pretty easy they're talking about, like the themes and the content. They're just really well written.
You actually said two things that I kind of wanted to, that made me think of two things I wanted to talk about on this, and that was one. I think it was a review that I was reading of the album, and it said haunting melodies invoking the cadence of a tired 4 a.m. blue collars walk home.
There you go.
I was like, spot on like very much like how Dropkick Murphys is very for the workers.
Yes.
For the blue collar. And these guys are like just fucking normal dudes. Like Chuck Reagan is a professional fisherman. He's just a...
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're from Gainesville, actually, which is where Less Than Jake and Against Me are from, so they kind of grew up all in the same scene with each other.
One of the members of the band, after Hot Water Music broke up, joined Against Me.
Really?
Yeah.
No, the drummer, who's currently the Bouncing Souls drummer, also.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, they went on to Bouncing
around.
Souls. Yeah, and one of the guys, I think the bassist went to, like, he joined Census Fail. So they all did something after this.
Census Fail is a trip, man, because Buddy, their lead singer, is the only original member. They've had so many fucking members.
That's never a good...
But they're still touring, still putting out shit. They're touring with Rise Against in a little bit.
The band that refuses to die. Census Fail.
Yeah. It really is.
Just fail already.
Come on, man.
And then I wanted to talk about the lyrics of the first song. I know, kind of going backwards, but
I need a rabbit.
Did y'all read anything up on like the meaning behind some of the lyrics in that one?
I kind of just deciphered on my own.
Yeah, I kind of assumed it was about addiction or like alcoholism is what I was guessing.
So this one is hard to decipher on your own, but so he went on a podcast, I think a year ago, whatever, but it was Chris DeMakes, the lead singer of Less Than Jake.
Love that podcast.
And they all talk about like an individual song normally, and he talked about Remedy. And so when he was a kid, like he grew up with these super conservative fucking parents, and he was a rough little asshole kid.
Right.
He had a bunch of like homemade tattoos all over his body and everything.
Shit. That's hardcore.
And so his parents wanted him to get them removed, so they like hired some guy to come, and this is well before laser tattoo removals and shit. So they no shit fucking like filleted his skin and cut these tattoos off of him. Yeah.
Holy shit.
He was like I'm talking 13, somewhere between 13 and 17 years old.
Wow.
And
Christ.
so some of the lyrics, I put them in this note thing so I woke to the sound in the rhythm of rain dancing down on the window pane, comatose, eyes half closed, arms wrapped up with the wounds all sewn, because he, no shit, like, cut it off and then just stretched his skin and sewed it back together.
Oh my god.
Holy
So
shit.
the lyrics are, like, literally about him fucking, he said, I'll strip the gauze for rational self-analysis, counting scars, counting blessings loud. It's all about, like all the stuff about being in pain is, like, legit fucking physical torture that he went through. Yeah.
That's crazy. So the song is not exactly about trying to get over alcoholism or...
No, he talked about that in his in that podcast too. That he never really he probably had some alcohol stuff, but he never really did drugs. His parents sent him away to some treatment place. It was one of these where they brainwash you into being fucking normal again.
Yeah.
His parents were some
So he was there for
hard-asses.
three fucking years in this thing.
Oh my
Shit.
god.
And he said being there, he the lyric in there about I'll strip the gauze for rational self-analysis. The rational self-analysis is some shit they had to do at that program of writing down what your issues were and all this shit, and that's what taught him how to write about his feelings and write about shit going on. So yeah, I mean, knowing some of that stuff makes that song just never tire of being a powerful song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's I didn't like the first couple times I listened to the record. The lyrics didn't really stand out to me. I was just like so into like I love the guitar. All the guitar work on the record is really good, and I love the tone of the guitars. They're so fucking beef, really distorted. I love how crunchy. But the lyrics were, you know, at the end of the day, the thing I started paying close to more and more I listened to the album, because once I started realizing what he was actually saying, and I think I looked up the lyrics to Trusty Chords because I always knew that song but didn't really know what it was talking about. So that was the first one I started following along, and I was like, whoa, these are actually really good. And then I just, song after song after song, I was like really impressed. And that adds like so much context. I feel like there's a lot of stories on these on this record that I probably have no idea, walking away thinking I know what the message was.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't know this guy's whole life, so you got to come away with your own kind of meaning to the song, I guess.
For sure.
It's true. It's just kind of weird when, like, I mean, there's even songs by RX Bandits, who are my fucking favorite band of all time, that I'll read along with the lyrics and be like, oh, I didn't know that's what he said there. And then it'll give the song a whole different meaning, and I'm just like, my life has been a lie for this.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Pretty much has been.
Yeah. No.
That's. We don't have to talk about it here.
But one thing I did want to talk about on this album is the production, which it sounds fantastic for, you know, it's not like 2002 they didn't have some good recording technology. Everything sounds very clean while also having that rawness about it. The drums sound great throughout this record, even if they don't do too much. I love the guitar tone, like you said.
Yeah, it's beefy, dude. The
nice
guitar
and crunchy.
And the bass is great. The bass was low key one of my favorite parts of the music as the album played out.
Really?
Yeah, because it made me think of Thrice. Weird that you brought up Thrice earlier, because I'm just like, this bassist is too good for this band. Like, they don't need a bassist this good. Like, why does a punk band or a alternative band need a bassist like as good as this guy? But whenever I started catching the things, the little things, like, yeah, that. I was really impressed with his stuff. Only thing is I didn't like his tone. You
didn't like the... I mean, it's a nice, clean bass tone, right?
A little too clean, me. It sounded like an Ernie...
Sorry.
It sounds like an Ernie Ball bass, and I've always hated the sound of Ernie Ball bass.
All right, well, I think at that point you're getting a little nitpicky about it.
That's what this show's about. I get to shit on really talented people to make myself feel better.
It's funny you say that. The producer of the album is like, he's produced fucking he produced three to four Thrice albums.
What? See, there's like not a lot of information about this record out there, so I didn't know that.
Well, it makes sense that he's had all this he's had so many fingers in all these pies. You know, it shows.
But it makes sense, right? It's like he knows this music really well. Like, that's one of the things, again, like, about the production, and probably what made me like the guitars even more, was the way that they use the two guitars they're really well done. Like, they're not always just playing power chords the whole time, and it's not always like one's playing power chords and the other one's doing all this kind of, like, you know, noodly stuff. Like, they have a lot of, you can tell that there's two different guitars playing in each, and the way that they fucking both play their parts, they're playing completely different parts. And it just adds so much, like, dynamic to the song. And then when they do come in, and it's usually like in the choruses or the bridges, when they do come in playing the same fucking power chords, it's just like a wall of sound. It just gets so fucking beefy. Like, every chorus on this record is like a sing-along, like, bar song. You know?
I was thinking it's their bar core for sure, man.
Bar core, dude. For sure.
That's why I love, like, Wayfarers, just the whoa, whoa, whoa.
Right, classic.
That whole section is just like, when David and I, when we saw them at their 25th anniversary tour, so they did the previous album, No Division, and then this one in full on 2 separate nights.
Oh, man.
And, like, seeing that live, even after 25 years, is just, like...
That's a release.
It's a different level.
Right?
It's fun. The other guitarist was not there. He's the one that's, like, he's a big reason why they've broken up a handful of times over the years. It's a Chris Waller. he's got a bunch of solo shit too. But at the tour, they played only a few shows. It wasn't even a tour. They filled in with this guy named Chris Cresswell from the band The Flatliners.
Okay.
Worth checking out. They're really good. He's got that same kind of Gaslight Anthem type vibe to them.
I love that.
If you like Gaslight, yeah. But he filled in like surprisingly very well for. I mean, everyone went to their 25th anniversary expecting to see like the two fucking guys that lead this band. But
and I'm looking at it's like literally on this whole album they switch off every other song as vocalist too. I didn't realize that.
I did not notice that at all.
Yeah, I could have sworn that was Reagan.
Yeah, Trusty Chords is the other guy.
Man,
Chris.
I was watching a They Might Be Giants live show, and I had no idea they switched off vocals too. They sound exactly the same as well. When you're in the same band, you kind of just inherit each other's vocal style, I guess.
Yeah.
And I feel like coming in on a 25-year anniversary tour and like having to play this record that's so many, it's like beloved to people. That's got to be so intense.
Yeah, but he fucking killed it, and now he's no shit like another thing that stands out about like these guys just as human beings is this guy is now a full-time member of the band. He's on their newest album, which is getting a lot of praise, by the way.
Oh, wow.
He has his own vocals on it. They brought him in. They like let him write some shit for it, and and it's not just him. The other guy's still in the band too. He just wasn't mentally able to tour or do the shows.
Who, Woolard?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they brought him in, and Chris, like, they just treat him like family, even though he's a brand new dude coming in.
That was like, I mean, Brett joined Mortalis like right when we were just finally getting off the ground, dude. Like right when we were about to start playing shows, and we had a whole record like that had just released and everything, and then our drummer left, and we were like, we're fucked. And then Brett came in and like immediately fucking filled our hole. You know?
Well, it's so. They must have really liked that guy, man. It seemed like they really grew attached to him if they just kind of made him a part of the band and like.
I think, and he's younger, like way younger than them by far. But he talked about it he did a podcast with the lead singer Silverstein a while back that I remember listening to. But he had filled in kind of randomly on. I think it was a tour that the guy kind of fell off of because of mental health stuff, and they had asked him to come in. So I'm not a musician, so I'm always blown away that people just learn a band's set list and just jump in.
Dude, Brett learned
like,
a 10-minute song of ours.
Me.
Like he like we gave him a weekend to learn a 10-minute song, and he came in and fucking killed it.
You motherfuckers gave me your two longest songs to learn.
What better
for
test?
the first two songs, and then all the other
test?
songs were like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. But this one's like 10 and 7 minutes. So go ahead and learn that real quick.
But you did.
But I did.
It blew us away, man.
I'm a very big boy. So I did it very.
That really does amaze me, though. Like as someone who's never learned an instrument and just appreciates the art of music.
Yeah.
Like hearing those stories that people do shit like that, regardless if it's a major band or fucking Mortalis.
Right.
It's crazy. Right. Like it really is. It's impressive.
Yeah, I think I'm bummed that Matt Skiba didn't get as much of a like welcoming too, because I was so excited for that, and I actually really loved that fucking album.
Yeah,
and a lot of people hated it.
Is a great album.
I thought it was awesome.
Some people are always gonna hate change, and you can't do anything about that because his voice and his performance is not like he doesn't seamlessly fit in like Tom Delonge.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Matt Skiba's a dark gothic fucking Satanist, and Tom Delonge is Tom Delonge.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like his voice,
I love his voice.
I love his voice.
It's just like whatever. I don't know. It's just a different band with them, and I love him. We saw him at some beach festival, but he's boring as fuck to watch in a pop punk band, like an upbeat pop punk band.
He's not energetic enough.
No, like Alkaline Trio is different. You expect like doom and gloom.
Yeah, three morose motherfuckers.
Yeah, actually, the other guy Dan, and Alkaline Trio has a shitload of energy.
Someone has
and,
to.
Screams and goes all in when he's live.
Yeah, I thought Skiba was such a great addition to me too, because I never liked Tom DeLonge. It's just a bummer that everyone hated it so much that I'm like, I don't even,
Yeah, I don't know. And now that after Hop has got cancer, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, I think he's in remission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll play again, but he's with COVID and everything. He kind of just stayed low and wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, cool factoid on this record. One of the original members of Minor Threat, speaking of them, and he's actually been in Bad Religion like before. Brian Baker played a bunch of guitar on this one, so that's
really
cool. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
On this one, Caution?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Huh.
Apparently he kind of does that. He does like kind of like studio musician shit, and it's just like, well, who doesn't want to get the fucking dude from Minor Threat to play on some of their songs, you know?
Yeah, sure.
When we just saw them on the Alkaline Trio Bad Religion tour, like that band blows me the fuck away. Bad Religion has been around for 30 years now.
Oh, 40 at this point. Like, How Could Hell Be Any Worse? I think was like 82 or something. Yeah. 40. And they still fucking kick ass, dude. I saw them probably like 5 times.
Full of energy.
Yeah. They're the shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I was seeing Brian Baker playing on stage.
Yeah.
I think he replaced Brett Gurewitz ever since, like, because Gurewitz started Epitaph and he didn't have time for the band.
Yeah, he went like full on Epitaph, which, I mean,
not a bad investment.
Yeah.
I think this was.
He did well for himself.
I think this was Hot Water Music's first release on Epitaph, which would kind of make sense why it's previous.
Was it?
I don't know.
Well, I think we should get in our nugs, but before that, Aaron, I wanted to ask if you had any like bullet points about the album you wanted to get through real quick before we talk about our favorites.
Just real quick though, the very end, like the song "The End," is, if you look at the lyrics of it, I loved, and that's something I never realized before until kind of looking into it for this, was that it is very book-ended. Hold on, my headphones have died.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Don't pause the recording or anything. Just go get new headphones.
I don't think you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me grab them real quick.
Well, this is our chance to talk shit about Aaron. I mean, how do you think he's been?
For a dude with 2 A's in his name, not so great.
Not great, right?
I would give him more of a C.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He more like fucking Aaron Pennington.
Oh my god, too fucking dead. Nail him to the cross.
No, but for real, he's been doing pretty good.
Who's
yeah,
that?
so you were saying you had something you wanted to say about the record.
Yeah, I was talking about the book ending of the lyrics was, and I'm sure it was intentional, but who knows. But in Remedy, they talk about the lyrics are, "I must live to know that healing takes some time." And then the lyrics in the final one are, "Now look at our broken bones. They want to heal, but they don't." And I kind of love that, as I talked about, that a lot of the stuff that they talk about is they've got some hope in there, but then the end it basically says, look, shit sucks. It's not going to fucking, like, we want it to get better, but it just doesn't. So here we are.
I wonder if it was like even maybe emotionally intentional, but not like not mentally intentional.
Yeah.
Like, because it sounds like they're talking about some real shit on this record, so it's maybe just like whatever headspace they were in. That's just how honest they were being, you know.
For sure.
They're just like, wow, you can take the first line of the first song, the last song of the last song, and the last line, you know, and it somehow correlates and wraps up the whole record. But I like that vibe, but I think like my favorite songs on the album were probably the happiest ones. For a reason. So let's get into those choice nugs.
It is time, it is time, it is time for choice nugs. It is time, it is time, it is time for choice nugs.
I'm gonna go first.
Yeah.
My first choice nug has always been my favorite song on the record, and I thought it was the only Hot Water Music song I knew, because I never, but it's Trusty Chord.
Trusty Chords.
That's always been my favorite Hot Water Music song. I love their, like, the guitar work in the chorus, that like octave little chord that they're playing.
Yeah, the kind of the no effects chord.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
that
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
so catchy and bouncy, but I love the little like just that little kitty cat part.
So I don't know if this will
Kinda-
like ruin the song for you or make you love it more, but like apparently they just spliced this together with a bunch of fucking tracks, like guitar pieces that they had been working on, and it was like a very fast. They slapped together the guitar work and then added the vocals on top of it. But
Really?
yeah, it's like just a bunch of unfinished pieces that they couldn't find places for, and they found a way to make it work in this song and then added vocals on top of the track.
That makes me like it even more.
Yeah,
man.
I love
I
that.
would have never noticed.
I would have never thought
It
that.
sounds so fucking polished.
It sounds so orchestrated and like composed, because like all those little tiny things, like even in the chorus, that
Yeah.
like all of that sounds like this song to me sounded like one of those that everyone's just like, oh yeah. Like one of them starts playing the fucking octave
Everyone's
chord,
grooving
the
along.
drummer starts doing his little thing, and then it's just like, oh, that song wrote itself in 15 minutes or whatever. Like, that's a really cool story behind it. Well, that's definitely one of my favorites, man, and it has been since fucking day one. I think it was on like a Epitaph. What were the Epitaph comps that came out back in the day?
I don't know.
'Cause I remember Fat Music for Fat People, and all
Short
the fat
music
records.
for short people.
Yeah. But I don't remember what the Epitaph ones were called. And those were great compilations, man.
Wasn't it just like Punk-o-Rama?
Punk-o-Rama.
Oh, that was...
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Epitaph until you just reminded me. But yeah, those were great.
Yeah. Oh, man, those were so... And this was on there. And that was the only song I'd heard. And I think the other song that is my other choice, Nug, was like on another... But we'll get to that.
Okay. Brett,
All right,
what about you, man?
My first Narnug on the album is going to be the song right after Trusty Chords. It's going to be I Was on a Mountain.
Yes.
That's a tasty one.
I love that
It's
song. I really do.
It's a tasty one. I love the riffs. I think it might be my favorite like guitar playing on the record. There's a lot of these upstrokes that you never hear in this kind of music that I thought was interesting.
And they pulled it off, and I love the toms, the floor toms going on with it that just like beef it up like crazy.
And then like how half the, they start the toms on the half, and then they go into the cymbals, and the instruments kind of come in. I love that back and forth on the verse. And I thought it was probably my favorite lyric song, with like the coolest imagery on it. Just being, on top of the mountain and then getting the ground crumbling underneath you. Knowing that what you're standing on is like nothing. And just, like every other song on here, an explosive chorus. Da 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
I really like the vibe of that song. And the fact that it's the one that actually says caution in it.
Yeah,
I
I
like
love
that.
it when that happens. It's like the album
Roll credits.
title is just a lyric in one of the songs.
Yeah, that's this one. God, I feel like they're just gonna keep coming up. But this song sounded like a Thrice song to me. That melody, that chorus melody, is just very Dustin Dinsrue sounding to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
You're
right?
normally wrong about that stuff, but yeah.
Dude, Brett is always confused when I make comparisons. It never makes sense to him.
Well, because we're from like two whole different generations.
That's
if you
true.
if you started finally talking about like My Chem or fucking
Mike, I was listening to them today,
or Good Charlotte, maybe then we could talk.
and we have a lot in common already.
Baptized by the river.
It's little things. Aaron, what was your one of your choice nuts, man?
Well, I'll get the obvious one out of the way first, which
Okay.
is definitely Remedy, just because the
Super close one for me.
true, like, the meaning behind that song and the way it kicks off the album and how it just catches you the whole time is, it's the easy answer for the Choice Nug, but I love it.
Yeah,
it was
really do.
an honorable mention for me. It was very close
Definitely.
to being one of the choices. Such a cool way to start off the album, like Lucas said, with these vocals come in and the drums are kind of like ooh, ooh, and then the
yeah, then the fucking drop. It's such a hype ass way to start it, and it's so effective. And that's probably, I don't think anyone's mentioned it yet, but like you said, Aaron, like you mentioned the bookend type of thing with the first song and last song. Like, this does kind of seem like there was some planning and thought put behind, not just in like energy and vibe, but also fucking, you look at the credits and it's like literally every other song is like a different lead singer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think they did that. They're like, all right, I'll go first, you'll go next, and it's just like fucking Ego did it, or like that's just the agreement they came upon or whatever. But I do feel like the track listing is like really. I had a bunch of other mentions. Like, It's All Related, I thought was really good. Like, mid tempo. The guitars were just super fucking loud on that one, like a wall of sound. And then pretty much every song after that. The Sense, Not For Anyone. I love that in Sweet Disasters, that fucking like really dissonant like guitar part during the chorus that's just so like off-putting and weird. But I would say my second choice snug, man, and it's my other favorite Hot Water Music song, is Wayfarer.
Yeah.
I can't help it, dude. I'm such a sucker for that bar core, catchy, like, woes. Every chorus could be a woe if it's this good.
Yeah.
Such a bar song.
So good.
Such a group, like, gang vocal song.
Just one of the catchiest, probably the catchiest song on the record. And I love it's a very different vibe from the other songs too. Like, for sure. It's so catchy, and it's almost like, sounds like a Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
It, to me, was more of the other ones were very kind of introspective. This one was more like talking to the fucking listener, like kind of daring them. Like, it's a gamble, double down or don't. Step out if you want to, stay in if you're bold. I fucking love that start to that song.
Yeah, it's like you said, like, they're little like slivers of hope every now and then. This one feels like one of those that it's just like, it's right before the last song and he's giving that last fucking push to like motivate himself,
Right.
Before he just meets the end. But yeah, man, it's super catchy. Love the guitar work on it. And that chorus, I could listen to the chorus on loop like all day. It's kind of like True Believers by Bouncing Souls.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just as catchy and just as like fucking fuck the bro hymn. I've never liked that goddamn song. Like, this is what I want to fucking...
Pennywise guy. Huh?
No, this is what I want to chant along to with my fucking bros. So that's my second one.
Good one.
My second one was tough. It was between Remedy and One Step to Slip was my other potential, but I eventually landed on track 9. Apparently the only explicit song on the record. So my mom's going to be mad about that, but it's all right for now. I
That
think.
one was super 90s.
Is it?
Felt super 90s to me. It almost felt like, hey, I know you guys aren't going to agree with me, so it doesn't matter what I say. It felt 90s to me, all right? I'm not going to try and find a band to compare it to.
No, I think probably the guitar work that he does, like, it's like high up on this weird chord that keeps changing.
Yeah, and it's that letting the like feedback thing too, like during those parts.
Yeah.
Something very 90s about it, especially the bridge feels like a weird alternative, like a live song or something.
Yeah, and it's it might be for the it's one of the more, I'm not going to say slow tempo songs, but it does kind of take a little step back from everything we've been going through,
Yeah.
and I think I appreciated that about it. I liked how he kept, returning to "How's your weekend?"
I think that's
I thought it was
like the way that you just said that makes me. I'm validating Lucas's comparison, because that is very That's a very 90s,
Very 90s.
alternative. Like, I'm trying to think of a good band also. But,
I know it's on the tip of my tongue.
Good luck.
I hear a very specific band in this, and the first thing I thought it was Pearl Jam, but I don't think it's Pearl Jam.
no, it's not Pearl Jam. It's not. Doesn't have Vetter vibes.
Maybe Fuel. I don't know.
It's
Oh,
not.
I couldn't tell you.
It's not
That's true.
Third Eye Blind, but maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit of Third Eye Blind.
Brett was like 8 minutes old when this in the 90s, so
Yeah, I was just coming out
Just came in
on my
out.
mommy's
just
tummy.
came out.
Just came out of my mommy's tummy, and I was listening. You know, I was like, "This is fine," but you know, we'll see. I got a lot of life to live.
We're all a product of our times. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bridge where they bring it back down was a cool part. I like how they brought it back in, and that is my second nug, and I'm very curious to see what Aaron's second nug is.
I first of all love that we all picked different
I kinda can't
songs
believe we
somehow with
Yeah.
6 of them and that's kind of a testament to me that this album is outstanding because how many tracks are on the album, right?
Yeah, 12.
12, and we covered half of them with several honorable mentions.
Yeah.
My second one is The Sense because I really
The Sense was one I didn't
loved
like that
song.
much.
I like the lyrics very much in the song.
I didn't like it as much at first, and as the song went on, and every time I listened to it, it grew on me a lot because the guitar is really cool on it.
I
Yeah.
like definitely love the guitar on it, and then I'm a lyric guy, so those lyrics caught me. It's very much, basically saying
Kind of a
like,
loss of innocence.
Yeah,
thing, right?
absolutely. It's all about it's the lyrics. I'd rather learn from children. I'd rather see their world and all its natural splendor, all its harsh distress unknown. It's like, look, this world fucking it sucks. I'd rather kind of go back and look through the eyes of an innocent kid who doesn't see it that way. Kind of start over type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like that.
Yeah, it's just it shows. This one did hit with me, the lyrics, because I mean I'm sure it's the same with all of us. We're all constantly growing, and it's kind of hard to go back to that, I guess, childlike view of the world and the amazement of the world and kind of these fresh thoughts and fresh ways of thinking, and we kind of get stuck in this calloused, bitter kind of view of the world.
Yep.
So that's this one definitely hit all those chords with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's that's what I like about the balance that they have on the record. Same with bands like Gaslight Anthem that are very like nostalgic. It's almost like they're always talking about their youth or like old times when things were less complicated or whatever. But it's like I'm totally cool with having the dark, depressing like reality in the music, but having that little glimmer of hope, I think, is like how I would define my mental state right now.
Yeah.
That it's like it's dark.
Well, that's good.
Things are hard. Like it's harder than it needs to be, and it's gonna continue to be hard. But it's just like I think it's kind of like a working man's mentality, or kind of this blue collar mentality too, or like this blue collar attitude where it's just like, hey man, I'm just doing what I got to do, and like trying to appreciate the things that I have in my life, and like create this little bubble around me of some love.
Whatever.
Anyway, yeah, but yeah, man, that's definitely like, I think that's why I gravitated towards the more happier songs on this record, because I'm trying to feel that way more these days.
It's not something you hear too much in this kind of music. You got to kind of
Right.
grasp it when you can.
I gotta listen to more Listen to.
Well, with all that being said, I think it's time to get to the ratings. Aaron, do you want to go first or last? Do you want to judge us as we're doing it?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Set a scowling precedent. Okay.
Just interrupt us as we do our rating.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just wrong.
Try
bad
again.
opinion.
Start over.
What is your rating?
All right. Well then, Brett Jimin, continue.
I'll go first.
You have the floor.
Thank you.
Yes.
For my presentation, I present this album that we've been talking about for the last hour. You might have heard of it, Caution by Hot Water Music. I don't know if I said this in the episode, but before you brought this album on, I had never heard of it.
Wow.
Never.
I'm excited that I could open your eyes to Hot Water Music then.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna peek into their other stuff after this. But it was just so weird to me that I found a band like this that I'd never even heard mention of, and it's like such a big part of y'all's, like, I don't know if childhood is the right term, but like your upbringing, maybe your musical upbringing.
Yeah, I would say it sounds like for Aaron.
Yeah, for sure. I think part of it is just some of the experiences I had seeing them as a kid, say as a kid, but as a teenager or whatever. Some of the shows that saw them at were meaningful. I think I saw them with one of the AFI shows I saw, which is like one of the weirdest experiences of my entire life.
I think I know about that story.
With Bleeding Through
Someone's
opened
dad.
up, and then Hot Water Music and AFI. Yeah, it was a chaotic drunk driving experience.
Jesus Christ.
While I was in high school, of my friend's dad who took us to the show.
Got hammered while they were at the show.
They had a really awkward relationship. She sold his ticket because he was our chaperone. We were fucking high school kids. He drove us from Houston to Austin, which is a 3.5 hour drive. 3 hour drive.
That's like a 4-hour drive.
So he went to the gas station. She sold his tickets in line while he was gone.
Holy shit.
He came back and was obviously fucking livid. He went to some bar in Austin while we were at the show. We were at La Zona Rosa, I think, in Austin. And
great venue.
We stayed after the show to meet Davey because he wasn't there, so we just happened to still be there. But he didn't. The show ended at like 10-ish, something like that. He didn't show up till 12, 1 o'clock.
Oh my God.
So we were just two high school kids just sitting out behind this venue. And then he went to go take us home and is just like swerving all over the road. He's just obliterated drunk.
Oh,
he got lost. We ended up in San Antonio, which is the opposite direction of where we needed to go.
How?
We no idea, but we saw the sign that said like "Welcome to the Alamo" or something off the highway, and he had again before cell phones that had maps and shit. So he had like pulled over to a gas station. I remember him buying a map and just trying to figure out where to go. But yeah, we got back at, I don't know, probably
stressing me out.
6, 7 a.m. They were throwing shit at each other in the car, like throwing CDs at each other. It was just absolute chaos for one of the best shows I've ever, like, this was my first time ever seeing AFI, and I was obsessed with them, so it was a very kind of roller coaster night of... Anyway, so Hot Water Music was part of that, but...
So that's why I love this record so much.
I do feel like that they are a huge influential band for a lot of people, but they have somehow flown under the radar and not been kind of where everyone knows who Bad Religion is, everyone knows who Minor Threat is, everyone knows who Less Than Jake is. Against Me is kind of the same way. Not everyone has heard of Against Me.
Probably give or take with them.
But
yeah. Well, I'm glad you told that story because that will affect my rating for sure. Knowing what I know now. But yeah, all that to say, like I never ran into Hot Water Music. They were not a part of my upbringing, and so listening to this album was my favorite parts of the album was the guitar work between the two guitarists, or maybe three, counting the Minor Threat guy, I guess.
I guess so.
And the vocalist's voice, which is, I think, for me at least, a perfect combination of clean and gruff, where you can still hear the words he's saying, but there's that energy and power behind it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have heard the bass a little better after hearing Lucas talk about it like that. And I think the drums were fine, even if a little bland. They did what they needed to do. and I'm not going to fault them for that. That being said, I think there was a good amount of this album that felt a little samey to me and kind of felt hard for me to differentiate just because I've been listening to this song for a week, and the more I listened to it, the more I was able to tell the difference. But there are, I think, a good 4 or 5 songs that kind of sound exactly the same to me.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 songs that I didn't like as much.
But it's definitely probably going to pick these 2 choice nugs, probably going to go back to a couple of these songs, definitely check this album out again, check out this band. And with that, I think I'm going to give this one a 7.5.
Dang, that's good for Brett.
What'd you give 4 Years Strong?
I don't know, probably a 4.
Yeah. I don't think he liked him too
I had
much.
listened to part of that episode, like the very start of it, and Brett immediately was just like, why'd you choose this fucking song? Why'd you choose this album?
Yeah.
Like, really? You chose them to start the new year? I was laughing.
It was such an out-of-the-box band that, like, I'd kind of heard of, and I did not expect Lucas to like, but...
I love him.
But yeah, I probably gave it less than a 7.5. And that's all that matters for this episode.
Yeah,
I'll take
for
it.
sure. All right, well, I'll go next because I think Aaron wants to
Finale it.
Yeah. I think like a lot of the majority of the album, I think is just like genuinely just great songwriting. Despite agreeing like that, there were some songs that just kind of like didn't land me too much. And that's really, I would say maybe 3 or 4 songs didn't really stick with me. I don't know, like they were same, but still really good songwriting, great fucking vocals, great musicianship across the board. And even the songs that didn't grab me, like all of y'all's choice nugs were like also my favorite ones on the record. So I'm gonna give it a 7.0.
Okay.
Because Trusty Chords and Wayfarer will always be like 2 of my favorite songs from my high school life, like forever. And the other songs I'll probably listen to have to hang out there again.
If it comes on shuffle, you're not going to turn it off.
Yeah, like we've said, I'm not kicking it out of bed for eating crackers. It's all right.
All right, Aaron. Well, why don't you go ahead and set us straight?
I won't
Correct us.
go too crazy on it. I agree that there are, a couple of the songs on there don't hit you the same, but maybe it depends on what your mood is that day. There's some days where I don't want to listen to hot water music at all because it can be very in your face and kind of down in the dumps. And like Lucas said, he's kind of gravitated towards the more positive songs because some days you don't want to hear that. But on those days where like that's what I'm looking for, this is definitely a band that I kind of fall back to and always am happy I did. So there's a couple of their albums could have been chosen. I think this was a good balance of something that y'all would have enjoyed a little bit too. I didn't want to kind of start with more hardcore stuff from the beginning, and it's harder to please everybody with those ones, I think.
I think you might be the first guest that actually thought about us in this equation.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Thank you very much.
I want to hear that stuff though. I definitely want to hear that earlier stuff and see how heavy they got.
Listen to No Division. It's
Okay.
It's not their oldest one, but it's probably their. If you talk to most of the people that have been around listening to them since their beginning, most of them will say No Division is probably their best album.
Sweet.
But yeah, I'm going to give this one an 8.5, but that's because I have a connection to it.
I expected at least an 8.
Yeah, I was thinking you're going 9s.
No, I mean, I'm also a realist that there's, some of the tracks even on all of their albums are just not for me, but overall they're very consistent. I think they are good people, good musicians, and truly care about the artistry of it rather than the like the reason they broke up back in the day is because Chuck he wanted to keep making music. He wanted to stay in the band, but he was tired of pleasing labels and trying to give people what they wanted as opposed to just making music for the sake of making music. So
Right.
I really respect and Chris, like, having his mental health stuff and being able to say, hey, this is our 25th anniversary. We're only playing like 4 shows of it. I'm not in a place mentally to do that. And to have kind of the courage to do that, I just respect them as people a lot.
For sure, man.
So yeah.
8.5, solid, dude. I mean, if I ever decide to cut off my skin off my arms to get rid of these tattoos, I'm definitely going to listen to this album again.
Yeah, for sure. Do it just so you can appreciate the album a little more. Give it better than a fucking 7.
Yeah.
And then you can tattoo some of those tattoos you sent us on the group chat.
Yes.
To kind of replace your
replace
burn
it.
marks.
Yeah, replace it.
Yeah, I do like that artist, though. He's out of Richmond, Virginia. I've got a bunch of his, like, he does some individual things, and then he's done a few kind of whole album flashes like that.
His
You
name's
want to shout
Jared.
him out real quick?
Yeah,
Jared
Jared
Gaines.
Gaines.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool, man. His Instagram's awesome. I love, like, like you said, he'll do a whole flash tattoo set for, like, one, and they're always really cool. And I always want all of them.
He does a lot of the punk festivals. Like, he normally has a booth up, and I think he does pretty well for himself for what he's doing.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I finally listened to this record, man. I've tried listening to this album so many times and throughout my life, and I've just, like, never made it past, like, track 3 or 4. And I'm glad I listened to it all. Like, I'm glad you forced me to listen to this multiple times.
Yeah, good. Their new album just came out recently, and like I said, is getting surprisingly a lot of praise from fans, which fans never like a band's new album for whatever reason. It's just a thing.
Seriously.
Sure.
But it's getting some good reception. I really like it. So, but it's cool to listen to it and see 20 years later that they're still like doing
going
the same
at it.
consistent shit.
Yeah, I was listening to. I heard the first 3 songs on the new album while we've been talking, and I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, well, thank you all for listening to this episode of Earbuds. Thank you, Aaron, so much for coming on. Is there anything
For real.
Like, I don't know if there's anything you want to plug, or just like
Absolutely not. But thank y'all for having me and inviting me to do it. I was excited, dreading it today because when you agree to something and then it comes up and you're like, "Fuck, I'm supposed to do
It's
this."
Actually, got to do it now.
I am actually very happy I did. I had a good time.
Yeah,
Nice,
man. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to be excited to see you on Lucas and Andreas' podcast about AFI.
Let's do
Starting to think you should be the third host, man.
very proud of you next time.
Yeah. All right. This is happening. Yeah, dude, Aaron, anytime you want to be on, dude.
For sure.
Super. Yeah, you're always invited, man. This is super fun. It's weird doing this podcast now. Like, having a reason my friends again.
Are you going to bail on it now that you have your professional weed podcast?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's too big for it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his
I made time
that's
for
his
this
job.
today.
So,
Yeah. But, we'll see how long this sticks around. If you keep coming on to episodes, Aaron, it'll probably last a little longer.
oh, thanks.
Yeah. We got one more episode in us,
Yeah.
for sure. Brett, where can people find us on Instagram?
They can find us at EBPcast, baby. They can find us at Jean-Luc Guitard, baby.
yeah.
They can find us at Brett Hanrahan, baby.
Oh, yeah.
You can find us on YouTube, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to start doing shorties soon. Excited to get back into that. That's going to be anywhere you find podcasts, video version on YouTube.
Yup. The next album we're listening to is, what was it?
It is Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. Denzel, I've listened to this already.
So
oh,
good.
boy.
I'm so excited.
So excited to talk about this new record, man.
Yes. Do you know Denzel? Aaron, you listen to him?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Sick.
He's...
What do you think about him?
Yeah, what do you think? so far?
I just said no.
Yeah, do
we
you want
know.
to give any like blind takes?
Oh, terrible.
Like start some Okay,
Really
yes,
bad.
see,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we have our guests on to start this like beef, this controversy.
A lot of
that we don't
racist
have to be
undertones.
accountable for.
A lot of them.
Great.
I don't know if you guys know the history of "melt my eyes," that phrase, but yeah, look it up. A lot of racism there.
Yeah. Track 3 especially.
All right.
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah,
just
it's-
save it for the pod, Aaron.
Well,
Save it for the next
I
episode.
don't. Some of those words I don't endorse, but anyway.
Well, thanks for listening, buddies. Aaron, what would you? Not Aaron rating. Brett, what would you rate this episode?
I'm gonna rate it whatever Aaron wants to rate.
10.
Nice.
Woo!
Nice. I'm giving it a 9.7.
Well,
9.7 for
it's
me.
a 10. So, and I got he left it to me to rate it. So,
Yeah. So, and you know my rating always overrides
I
your.
know. Aaron's a 10-star man, so we'll give it a 10. Thanks for listening, buds. We're going to press stop recording in when I count down from 3, 2, 1. You ready?
eat.
3, 2, 1, now.
Okay, this is good.